I am getting the political game show ready. Bonus question for my peeps. Let's go ahead and start with this one, shall we? True or false? Does JSnip4 have too many video advertisements on his YouTube videos? Your answer. True? Sorry, that is incorrect. He does not have nearly enough on his channel. Moving on. Or, oh, wait a minute. Let's go back here. Yeah, so I'm just doing a little testing with the old game show. Did a Skype test from my laptop to myself, 2 different accounts. Videotaped the whole thing. It's, I think it's going to work out really, really good. Entertain the masses while educating. And when I get this thing going, you got to tell everybody you know. Why? Speaking of those advertisements, the kind of prizes that I could possibly give out for the people on the show could be quite substantial. I was actually kind of doing some calculations today at lunch based off this channel, the JSnip4 channel, and then said, man, if, entertainment always wins. If I tripled or quadrupled the amount of subscribers I had, man, I could be giving out all kinds of awesome stuff to the contestants on the show. And I would love nothing more than to hook a brother up while simultaneously keeping a couple dollars for myself, obviously. But man, I could be giving out laptops and 27-inch monitors, screens, or touchscreen laptops. Maybe you want an iPad or something, or God knows what. I mean, I could do all kinds of stuff. And the beauty is, again, the advertisements on this channel pays for it. That is just fantastic, if I don't mind saying so myself. So I want to talk about, get over here. Once again, the Italian banks. The Italian banks. We need a $40 billion bailout. They're going to get their $40 billion bailout. Angela Merkel of Germany, no, it's against our rules. EU, not going to happen. There needs to be haircuts for the people in line to get the haircuts before any talk of bailout happens. No, absolutely not. And we hold a veto vote, which we will use. And that was like 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Now, again, according to Zero Hedge, as we noted today, the rumors of an Italian bank bailout, which started on Monday morning and were promptly shot down by Merkel the next day, got louder after Reuters reports that the Italian government is considering more creative ways to inject liquidity into Italy's banks. However, that was just an appetizer, apparently, to the main course, which came later today when, as the Wall Street Journal reported, citing a spokeswoman for the European Union's executive arm, that the, quote, European Commission has authorized Italy to use government guarantees to create a precautionary liquidity support program for their banks. How did this happen so quickly under the table and without Merkel's blessing? Wall Street Journal says that the program was approved under the bloc's, quote, extraordinary crisis rules for state aid, end quote. And here we thought that Italy's banks are actually doing, so very well. Oh, wait a minute. No, we didn't. As the Wall Street Journal notes, the proposed crisis plan is the other leg of the intervention plan considered by the government, namely the direct capital injection into Italian banks that would add up to 40 billion euros in capital to the banking sector, the one we profiled previously. It is also the plan that Merkel supposedly shut down before it got off the ground. However, Europe had a plan B, as you can expect, up its sleeve. What are the details of this latest crisis program? According to an EU official, the liquidity support program includes up to 150 billion euros in government guarantees. The Wall Street Journal adds that the Commission spokeswoman declined to comment on the amount of guarantees that were authorized, but said that the budget requested by the Italian government had been found to be proportionate. The Italian Economy Ministry declined to comment. Very quickly, look surprised. An amusing sidebar. Only solvent banks would qualify for the liquidity support program, which has been authorized until the end of the year. The problem is that with 360 billion in NPLs, every bank in Italy is insolvent, which implicitly means that they will all be found to be solvent by accounting trickery, as I always explain, or otherwise nobody will benefit. You can't call a spade is what they're saying. You can't call an insolvent bank an insolvent bank, because then you can't apply for this. My next question would be, if a bank's not insolvent and they're allowed to apply for this, help. If they're not insolvent, why would they be applying to start with? So why would you even create a rule that says only healthy banks can apply for this? Oh, I know. So that when the taxpayers hear about this, they'll say, yeah, but it must be a healthy bank. It must be solvent because it's asking for it. That's what the rules say. As if we're that freaking stupid to not figure out what the hell's going on here. Confirming the severity of the Italian fiasco is that the decision, which was taken on Sunday, had not been previously disclosed until the Wall Street Journal reported on it, and appears to be a first indication of governments moving to shore up banks in the wake of market turbulence following the Brexit referendum in the UK. In other words, just as we said before, Brexit was nothing more than a European-blessed crisis ploy designed to achieve two things: unleash more quantitative easing, which the Bank of England admitted will happen, most likely with the involvement of the ECB, or European Central Bank, and number two, to facilitate the bailout of insolvent, or did I just say insolvent? I'm sorry, solvent Italian banks. Brexit will be just the scapegoat used by Renzi and Italy to circumvent any specific Eurozone prohibitions. And if it fails, all Renzi has to do is hint at a referendum of his own. Then watch as Merkel scrambles to allow Italy to do whatever it wants just to avoid the humiliation of a potential Ita-leave vote. And while Angela Merkel apparently shut down the original proposal pitched by Italy, Europe, surely under the guidance of Mario Draghi, has found a way to circumvent her veto power. Quote, as this decision and other precedents demonstrate, there are a number of solutions that can be put in place in full compliance with EU rules to address market turbulence, the spokeswoman said. To be sure, Italy's market has indeed been turbulent. Italian banks have lost more than half of their market capitalization since the beginning of this year, as investors fret about the lenders' huge exposure to bad loans. That compares to an average decline of less than 1/3 for European lenders. Some Italian banks have seen their shares drop by 3/4 of what it was, 75%. But what is most stunning is the Wall Street Journal's conclusion of what the plan is supposed to prevent. It is not to halt the stock price collapse. It is actually to prevent a bank run from occurring. A person familiar with the Italian government plans said the cabinet of Prime Minister Matteo Renzi hoped to use a liquidity backstop to contain investor panic, which could result in a run on deposits and affect banks' liquidity. Needless to say, for Italy's Prime Minister to be contemplating how to avoid investor panic and prevent a run on deposits, then Italian banks must truly be on the verge of collapse and must truly be insolvent. Finally, for those curious about timing and how soon until it all unravels, we quote the European Commission spokesman who said that, quote, there is no expectation that the need to use this scheme should arise, end quote. What that statement really means and whether a preemptive plan to bail out Italy's insolvent banks will, quote, boost confidence, we leave up to the readers to decide. Strongly agree. Is what Zero Heads just said correct? That is correct. So I want to share that with you. I've said this from the very beginning. My thoughts would be that if they bailed out the EU, if Brexit took place, they would blame everything that they did next on that happening. Even though, as of today, again, now we're 4 days into this, 4 days now, which when you see this video will be Friday, we'll be 5 full days into and after the UK Brexit vote. I'm listening today, Dow Jones is back up to 17,800 and green shoots everywhere. I thought the end of the world was coming because of the UK leaving the EU. That's what we were told. But now, as you just witnessed, now they can say, we need a really, 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 really big bailout. And this is just for Italy. This is for one of the 28 member states of the European Union, which will in the future be 27, again, after the UK actually leaves and invokes Article 50, should they even do it. Imagine this, right? Imagine they don't invoke Article 50 for a little while. And as a matter of fact, as time goes by, they don't ever invoke it, and the UK doesn't actually leave. But in the meantime, of the threat of them leaving, and we're going to be doing it in the near future, we'll get on with it. And since we're talking like that, Italy needs a bailout, Spain needs a bailout, Portugal needs a bailout, everybody needs a bailout. And since the UK is leaving, we're just going to have to do this. And then later on, yeah, we changed our mind. We're not going to actually vote. It was not binding anyways. We changed our mind. We're going to go ahead and stay. Oh, well, open arms. Come back in. We'll take you right back in since you haven't really left. Good deal. And all of the bailouts took place just off of that nonsense. Now, I still believe one way or the other, more countries will be wanting to leave, period. Because again, you cannot have this new world currency they're getting ready to geared up for, allegedly in 2018. When you have a completely stable economic powerhouse, green shoots everywhere of a European Union, everyone's happy we're sticking together. Then why do you need a new world currency to come play a role? You need to break all that stuff up. So, remains to be seen how they fully do this, but I am not even kind of shocked that this 40 billion, which got denied, has now turned into 150 billion just for Italy. I mean, I just got to take a little quick peek. Italy population. Curious how many people? 59.8. That's 2013 numbers. We'll round that off to 60 million now. 60 million people. United States, 350 million. Italy alone needs 150 billion. Talk about some insolvent banks. Oh, you cannot polish a turd. Sorry about your luck.